What's going on, everyone? It's Cam here, Senior National Training Manager at Lucetta CI. I am very excited about today. This is part 2 of our product overview, our more in-depth technical overview of our product portfolio that we're releasing in Phase 1. Talking a little bit about as well what's coming in Phase 2 and Phase 3. I think it's really just going to be one of the more exciting times in our company history. I do see that we have Rob Daugherty here on the call today. He is new to the team, but feels like he's been on our team for the last 15 years. What this guy has done in just short 6 months is pretty incredible. So I wanted him to say a few words. Rob, if you're there, come join us, say a couple things before we get started.
Hey, thanks, Cam, for the introduction. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's certainly an exciting time at Lucetta CI with the transition of taking our company or Lucetta CI from a division of Elemental LED, our parent company, to a brand and product line. Hopefully, you all on the call have received emails and attended previous webinars about the transition. If you have any questions during this call or at the end of the call, please feel free to reach out to Keith Zeber, Olivia Jaber, or myself if you have particular questions. We'd love to answer them for you. We've got an exciting new website that we just launched, a new portal for yourselves, for our dealers that's just going to continue to improve and make it easier for you to do business with us. So we're just really excited about the transition and what it will do to improve your businesses in the future. So please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll turn it back to Cam. Appreciate that.
I also just wanted to introduce or bring on Olivia. Olivia, I apologize you weren't on right at that moment, so I wanted you to say a couple words here. Olivia really has spearheaded our CI division. I remember when it was her and only her and a lone wolf out there, and so to see where we've come in the last 3 years is pretty incredible. So Olivia, take the stage.
Thanks, Cam. Thank you all for being on this call. So before Lightapalooza, we had some webinars that were really focused on just giving you guys an update on where we are today and the exciting brand launch. So Cam is going throughout this week. He did one yesterday. He's building upon that today and to just really deep dive into the Lucetta CI product line. And if you didn't make yesterday's, then you'll be able to access all of them. I believe they're all going to be recorded. But yeah, just a few words. We've been working on this for about 2 years in the making, and the biggest request we've gotten across the country from our reps, from our integrators, is we want our own exclusive brand to really leverage the types of projects we're working on to have the best access to products that are really going to catapult you into that next level of lighting. And so that is what we've done. We are throughout this year rolling out phases of more and more products. When you log into your portal, you are no longer going to see Diode, you're no longer going to see Lucetta, and it's awesome because everything you really need is already in Lucetta CI. And if there's something that you're working on a current project and you don't see it, you'll just reach out to Rob, Keith, or I, and we'll make sure that you're fully covered. We don't want this to be stressful. Change is never easy, but honestly, it's been pretty smooth for us so far, and having everyone at Lightapalooza give us great feedback has been awesome. So yes, Cam's going to dive into this product. We appreciate all of you guys' support and partnership, and we're really excited for 2026.
So all right, let's get into it today. This is going to be I would say more fun one for me because we get to talk about specialty products today, specialty lighting solutions. Again, though, we will kind of sprinkle in complete fixtures as well as our connectors as well today. I do want to still make sure that we cover those. So specialty lighting, this is where I think personally custom integration gets to shine. This is the type of lighting that is not commonly utilized in our distribution division due to whether it's cost consciousness, whether it is just no creativity whatsoever, where they're not used to utilizing and implementing different types of unique unique products into a space. So this is where I think custom integration is going to be able to bridge the gap and, in my opinion, become synonymous with low voltage lighting here in the next 3 to 5 years. I think that is coming. I think that the industry needs it, that we are truly disrupting what is maybe I would consider a broken system in the past. And so we're bringing light to more places than ever before. So as we go through these different product solutions, please again, just remember that you can submit any type of questions into the chat. Please do it now. If it's on the top of your head, we will make sure that we address that at the end of this webinar. So let's start with the DURO fixture. Now, DURO really, again, durability, being able to withstand extreme environments, being really your rigid fixture for the exterior. This is how I want you to see the DURO family here. Now, DURO is going to be our rigid fixtures, and then we'll talk about DURO Flex if you need that flexibility in the field to be able to bring light to different types of curved architecture, maybe curved outdoor fireplaces, curved walls and building eaves. Now, when we look at these specs here, again, like we talked about in last session here, we believe that more choices is sometimes not a good thing. So that's why you're going to see, again, that consistency in the static white offering that we have with the CCT. So 2400, 2700 Kelvin, 3000 Kelvin, and 3500 Kelvin. We're going to keep that consistent across all of our product offerings. As of today, with the DURO fixture profiles, we are going to market in phase 1 with 8 profiles. So you're going to see there, they are matching, though, the channel profiles that we have already as a product offering. Okay, so the same nomenclature, just with DURO before that, that channel extrusion part number. So DURO AR1, DURO AR2, AR3, FSL, FSQ, F45, SREC, and then the S1 Muddin. This is just the beginning. We have plans to be able to expand our DURO profile lines in the future. I'll give you one exciting one that I think is going to be kind of a game changer in the industry, is doing some type of walkover rated channel, but with the DURO polyurethane potted technology. And so I want to showcase these here on the top down in just a second. Just keep in mind, though, as of today, we have the 2 lumen options, lumens per foot options, but with a high lumen per foot coming soon, as well as different types of dynamic solutions coming soon. So DURO tunable whites, RGBWs, and even some warm dims. And so as we go to the top down here, let me grab here 3 of them that I wanted to showcase today. Now, from the normal view here, right, you're going to look at it and it looks like a channel profile with a lens on top. And that is on purpose. We are aesthetically trying to match the same profile and a look that you would have with a channel profile with tape light inside. But traditionally, what has happened in the industry is that we've seen people utilize some type of channel profile like this with a lens, and then they'll try to integrate some type of wet located silicone jacketed tape light in the channel profile. Now, unfortunately, though, this is, even though it is UL rated, it is IP65, even our own teams will try to push away different installers and specifiers from going this route. And that is mainly because no matter what, even if this is facing down, but specifically when it is facing up, over time, water is going to seep inside of that channel profile and sit on top of that silicone and start to deteriorate that silicone. And so what we've done here is we've now integrated a polyurethane technology where we pot this fixture with polyurethane. So yes, there is still the light engine at the base, okay, which now gives you the flexibility to be able to customize this to any dimension that you want within that light engine's cut point, which is 1-inch cut points. We can go up to about 8 feet, just keep that in mind, but you can then have wire entry out the entry A, as well as wire entry out entry B, and then daisy chain these. But when you look at these closely here, you can see this is a polyurethane that is potted inside. So that is the same technology that we use with our DURO Flex. Polyurethane is an organic material. Okay, so unlike unlike silicone, which is an inorganic material, polyurethane can withstand the different types of elements like salt water and direct sun exposure and moisture much better than silicone. Silicone, unfortunately, is utilizing at the liquid form. They will bake that silicone, cure it, then they'll paint over the silicone sometime like a UV stabilization paint. And then now they can get away with it being UL listed for the exterior. The problem is, as soon as that sun sits there and burns through that UV stabilization paint, once it hits that silicone, it's over. It's going to start to deteriorate, crack, almost look like it's rust. Versus polyurethane, you can have this in the direct sun for 24/7, 365 days a year, and it's not going to yellow, crack, deteriorate whatsoever. These are IP67, so again, a stronger IP rating for the exterior environments. That's really what you should be utilizing. And then they also have, though, some really nice kind of end cap, these like end caps that allow you to not see the side view of that polyurethane, so it's a little bit more aesthetic in nature. And so again, multiple different types of lumen outputs that are coming soon, like higher lumen outputs, like 600 lumens a foot, as well as different profile options and dynamic solutions. This is our recessed version. I wanted to showcase this one because this is fantastic for different shower niches or integrating between the tiles inside of those showers. Keep in mind with showers, you have to have, there are really 5 zones. Zone 0 is the actual ground. That has to be IP68. Then there's 3 zones after that that are IP67. And all 3 of those, 1, 2, and 3, are below the shower head. So if you are integrating any type of fixture that is below the shower head but not on the ground, you have to have IP67. This is a great option for that. And then above the shower head is where you can do IP65. We also have it in different profiles like our FSQ, so that you can have the mounting below the actual channel, so it's hidden away from view. Also, you can put adjustable aiming brackets on this and have this be adjustable. Maybe, let's say, some type of almost kind of a cove light within the pergola. You can pop this on the top part of that pergola and then kind of angle it and shoot it into the actual area and space where people are sitting. And then we also even have it in very low profile channels like our AR2 or our AR3. AR2, the only difference is it has a raceway underneath it so that you can do wire management underneath or hitting clips. Again, you get that the different finish options as well within our AR3, AR1, AR2, as well as the FSQ, FSL, and F45. Those all have that aluminum, black, and white finish. So very excited about this. These, you can really, they can take a beating, right? You can, things can hit them, and you're not going to have any damage to that printed circuit board of the light engine. So let's talk about our DURO Flex. So DURO Flex, taking that same technology of our polyurethane, again, this is the selling point, is polyurethane. This is what we have to, as integrators, relay to the electrical contractors, the builders, the specifiers, the homeowners that we're working with. We need them to understand that, yes, polyurethane and this technology comes with a price tag. It is more, a little bit more in cost than a lot of the other outdoor silicone solutions that we are seeing so often specified, right? But what you're getting out of polyurethane is that organic material that allows you to withstand these different extreme environments. This is the type of product, DURO Flex and DURO, that you don't have to worry about. You're going to specify it, install it, and it's going to be there for 10, 15, 20 years. Okay, unlike a lot of the cheaper silicone products, it's like, do you want to have to come back out and change it every 3 years? That's what's going to happen. At Top Golf trainings that we do so often, Rob has seen these, Olivia has seen these, where we'll do these Top Golf trainings, and if the location at all is anything older than 5 years, they're using the same silicone-based products. It's from a competitor, I won't name names, but a big competitor of ours, that they'll use on the building eaves and building facades, and have it in these cool dynamic color options. But if you look at them closely at a 7-year-old, 10-year-old location, they literally look like they're almost rusting. They have this yellow kind of cracky material on top of it. You can scrape off. It is just they're full on deteriorating. That is not an area where we want to have cheap silicone lighting, right? We want to have either our CURVA, which we'll talk about in a second, that is a different type of silicone technology, or our DURO or DURO Flex. So the DURO Flex, you're still getting that IP67 option, but also all the way up to a IP68 or 69 with a UL676 rating. This is the magic of DURO Flex. UL676 is the harder rating to get. Keep in mind, there are a lot of electrical contractors out there and builders who think IP68 means that you can put it in a pool. You cannot. IP68 or 69 means that you can submerge it in water at a certain depth, usually about 10 meters, and that it is, but as long as it's in water where animals and humans do not reside. If you are trying to put it in a pool or spa, which is pool or spa rated, UL676, that is where you can submerge it in water where animals and humans will reside, right? Like a pool. So that is what the harder rating to get. This is that UL676, but it's also UV stabilized, saltwater rated, chlorine rated, bromine rated, and even NSF rated. So NSF rated is where you can put it if you are doing any type of commercial projects like with restaurants. You can put this into commercial coolers. You can put this into food prep lamps right underneath so that this way it's kind of shining down on the actual food that's being prepared. You can even put this in on the outside of different oven niches. It's a very hard rating to get, and that's due to the polyurethane not collecting dust. Dust will literally fall straight off of it. It's also sauna rated and steam room rated. Okay, so that's another big one as well that can live up to about 180 degrees down to negative 40 degrees. In the future, there are some new technologies that we are trying out where it is almost like a hybrid version of DURO Flex where it will have a little bit more rigidity. That will be a fantastic option for your pools and different saunas as well. So just keep that in mind. That is coming soon. And again, the light quality, like everything with our DURO Flex, is it really 90 CRI up to about 95 to 98 CRI with, again, all those different static white options as well as an RGBW option, but top bend only. Keep in mind, though, like the DURO family and the DURO Flex, both together, coming soon will be those dynamic options of tunable white and warm dim as well. So, and then 5-year warranty, 2 years at deep cold, and then 1 year sauna. Keep in mind with the deep cold, if it is under negative 4 degrees, for some reason you are doing some type of cooler or very extreme environment like in Minnesota, it's actually best to keep the fixture on at all times, 24/7, to actually have it last longer and have better longevity. So just keep that in mind. Okay, and then you can see there we have a top bend options at multiple different lumen options as well as the RGBW. And then the side bend option is going to be that single 250 lumen a foot range, okay? All right, and then moving on to our CURVA. So CURVA is now really kind of that I would say that idea of having more profile flexible options. Okay, but we might remember what is unique about the CURVA silicone is that we actually infuse at the liquid form UV stabilization properties, okay? Versus, like I said before with silicone-based products, what happens is they are baking them, curing them, right? So they're liquid at first, they put them in a mold, they bake them to cure them, and then they put a UV stabilization paint over them. Problem with this is that yes, you can get it to be UV stabilized, that it is IP67. Unfortunately though, over time, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, that sun in direct exposure is going to burn through that UV stabilization paint. As soon as it hits the silicone, it's over. It's going to deteriorate within a year. Versus what we're doing with CURVA is at the liquid form, we are infusing UV stabilization properties, then we're baking it and curing it, which was able to withstand direct sun exposure for a much longer, 10, 12, 15 years. All right, and then as you can see here, we have multiple options already in phase 1, so static white, and you'll see again those common CCT options as well as an RGBW, warm dim, and tunable white option. These also come as factory assembly, IP67. Okay, keep in mind when you get it as a spool, it will come, the spool length will be the highest max run that you ordered. So some of our lower lumen output options are about 32.8 feet in max run. And then the higher lumen options, like our 3D, top bend, and side bend, all three of those have a high lumen output option. One of them being very high. Our 3D high lumen output is, up to, I think, 400 lumens a foot. Keep in mind, those will be a 16.4 foot max run. When you get that spool, it will have 3 feet of lead wire on each side. So it will technically be IP67 with silicone injection, which I'll show you here in a second. But as soon as you cut it in the field, it now drops it down to IP65. Okay, and I'll show you all this here in just a second. We have now our top bend, okay? We have our side bend, and then our 3D. Those three profiles right there, I really want you to focus on. Those are the ones that have the most options for the different projects that you're working on. So the low lumen output as well as the high lumen outputs. And then they also have the RGBW, tunable white, and warm dim options, okay? Then we also, though, have a mini 3D that only comes in static white, but really cool. I would say maybe, Olivia, you might have some different data, but this is one of our most popular profile options I think we've seen in CI.
100%. Yes. And what's really exciting about the CURVA family is, I'm sure Cameron's going to get to this. We have expanded like the different color options available with CURVA. Not all of the CURVA profiles you'll notice, just like with the technology standpoint, we can't, do RGBW in some of them, for example, but we do have a warm dim coming out that probably is one of the most requested products we've ever received, is finally having a warm dim that's flexible, that's like water resistant. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, the mini 3D bend, there's just so much you can do with it.
Yeah. And something that Olivia was bringing up too that just reminded me is that what is super unique about this silicone that we're utilizing is not just that it's UV stabilized at the liquid form, but also we were able to integrate some properties within the silicone, some scattering effects to allow you to have the highest CRI that I've ever seen and ever actually witnessed with my eyes within a silicone product. So that's what's amazing about the CURVA, is that it's allowing you to have that architectural light quality needed, but in a robust, durable, IP67 flexible profile. So we again have that mini 3D bend. Okay, wire entries, you still do get that straight side and bottom. I forgot to mention that on the top side and 3D. You do have 3 different wire entry options, both as a IP67 silicone injection option, okay, which I'll explain later why I really want to push you towards the silicone injection options. It's just a much better aesthetically looking type of wire entry. Or if you do need to use that field termination and connector, that wire entry, you can have that in the 3D top and side in the field with different wire entries. We also have the micro side bend, again, one of our other most popular products out there. I absolutely love the application shot here on the right. One of the more unique ways I've ever seen the micro side bend used, specifically, actually, probably one of the more unique staircase applications I've ever seen done. So really beautiful shot there. This, again, though, is a smaller profile, very small, so we're not able to do anything besides static white. And then this is also, keep in mind, out of all of the CURVA options of the 5, this is the only one that is, no matter what, IP65. I've not been able to figure out yet how to do silicone injection on such a small profile. So this does have some end caps that would make it IP65. And then just to show you, before I go to the demo here, just wanted to showcase to you some of the really unique areas that we have seen CURVA utilize. A lot of shower niches, a lot of places outside of the pool. Same with DURO Flex inside of the pool. And then obviously that one in the middle bottom, really cool application where they had all of these curved walls and ceilings that they needed some type of dotless, diffuse, flexible light that could kind of play with that curvature. And so let's switch over here to the top down. All right, let's start out. This is one of my favorite parts here, getting to showcase the CURVA. So I want to showcase a few different looks here. Let me move this out of the way. Sorry about this. It's if you're in the studio here, you would see that's a little bit of a garage sale today. So let's start out with the 3D bend here. So this is my favorite profile by far. Okay, and so this is going to showcase here the silicone injection. So you can see here on the back side, right, it's kind of a noticeable look, right? You can see it there. But on the front side, this is what you get out of the silicone injection, is this nice, beautiful wire entry, you know, not getting a big, bulky wire entry that is completely dotless all the way to the end. And so I'm going to turn this on here without blinding you. Okay, and so you can see that kind of beautiful look here, right? Where you have that dotless diffusion. When looking straight at it, you have light all the way to the very end. Okay, but obviously on the back end you can start to see it, but again, you won't be able to see that in front view. That is the magic of the silicone injection. Yes, you get that IP67. That is important, don't get me wrong, but to me, where I really see the IP67 coming in handy is that aesthetic look. So even for interior projects, we are using this all the time for interior projects. So I don't want you to think this is just something that you have to use for the exterior. And what I really suggest is ordering this as a factory assembled fixture, where we can have this built to the exact dimensions that you need, but then do the silicone injection ourselves here so that you have a nice, clean, aesthetic look. If you're going to cut it in the field due to dimensions changing and things like that, what I would suggest is doing a trim. Okay, so still getting that silicone injection, but then now you can trim it to whatever dimension you need, which is a much more low profile end cap. It's not as much of an eyesore, or only do that when it's in indirect view, so underneath and out of sight indirect view. Okay, so let me see if this is, this is our new warm dim here. So the warm dim, keep in mind, I'm about to showcase something here that's really cool about the CURVA, the free cut capabilities. Okay, so free cut meaning that you can literally cut these anywhere you want. But on the warm dim, tunable white, and RGBW options for the large 3D, top bend, and side bend, those do have cut points, which will be notated here on the back, as you can see here, right? Around, I think it's like 2.46 inches for the 3D, and then about 1.9 something inches, so about 2 inches for the top and side bend. Now, something that's kind of cool to showcase here, always trying to find a great way to show it on camera, but this looks beautiful. So I'm going to start here at 3,000, all the way down to that low, beautiful dim level. And so like Olivia was saying, we have been really asked for this for so many years, and I really believe that we delivered one of the most beautiful warm dim products. And so you can see this with a good dimmer. Okay, this has a really advanced printed circuit board that allows you to get to such a low dim level. Look at that, it barely looks like it's even on. So absolutely beautiful warm dim silicone-based product. Also, I wanted to showcase that you can do different wire entries. So this is our top bend product here, and I'll turn this on. Turn this back up a little bit. Okay, so this is our top bend again, right? And actually, I'll showcase the 3D here in a second as well. But this is just showcasing how we can do different wire entries. So this is our side wire entry. Still looks really, really clean with that silicone injection. Okay, so again, you can get this in side wire on whatever side you need, as well as bottom wire and then end entry wire as well. Both in that silicone injection, as well as a field wire entry connector. So something that I did not showcase that I want to showcase really quickly here is the two 3D options. So I want to show what is so magical about this 3D here. Is now for so long, right? Rope light, even though it is seen as tacky now, old school, kind of cheap looking DIYers type of light, it's rounded, it's not very architectural. What people loved about rope light was that you could bend it any way you wanted, right? Now tape light came out, it kind of started to take over the industry. Now obviously tape light has a lot of benefits. You can get higher CRI out of it, you have different cut points, you couldn't really cut rope light, you could get higher lumen outputs out of it, all of this kind of stuff. It was more niche, smaller, you could put it in different extrusion profiles, but with tape light, you obviously can't bend it on the side axis, right? So if we want to do side bend, we take the profile, pop the tape light on the side, and it bends like this. If we want top bend, you put it on the bottom, and it bends like this, right? So what we were able to do is take the same idea of a spinal channel, Now, Drew was in his office late at night. I remember him calling me into his office. He was having a bourbon, and every great idea comes with a bourbon, right? And he had the idea of saying, hey, what if we took the spinal channels that we utilize and we infused that to the printed circuit board? And so that's what we were able to do with the larger 3D here, so that now it gives you side bend as well as top bend. So imagine if you're doing an outdoor fireplace and you want the light to shoot out, you could bend it on the top bend. If you want it to shoot down and away from the eyes, you could go boom and bend it on the side bend, right? So really giving you that flexible nature in your designs to curve to any type of architectural detail. Okay, then there's also the side bend and the top bend, but I wanted to show these ones off in the channels. So we have straight channels as well as spinal channels, and then also clips. The clips will look something like this. Okay, so kind of a robust aluminum clip that you can utilize. The spine channels, I showed it earlier, look like this. What I like about the spine channels is that you can take this and bend it to the kind of architectural curvature you need, drill it all in. Now it's drilled in on that architectural detail, and then now you can just place that actual profile fixture inside of it. Very easy mounting. And then there's the straight channels. And so what I love about these straight channels is it almost turns it into a beautiful fixture. So this is our side bend. You can see here it fits perfectly in there. What I like is the nice cutoff of light. So when you're looking at it from the side view, it has a really beautiful cutoff of light. So absolutely gorgeous. You want to you showcase that? Yeah, let's showcase it. Let's. We have actually a nice little display here as well. So you can see here, right? So this is showcasing our micro side bend right here. And so that's the other one I wanted to talk about, where it has really cool curvature. You can bend this, almost tie it in a knot, as well as this is showcasing our side bend in the channel first. So here's that channel, and then being able to now bend it around and utilizing the different clips and stuff. It's really just the kind of amount of different types of installations you can do are pretty incredible. And so that's one of the other ones I wanted to showcase is the micro side bend. Okay, so this is a really fun one, probably our second most popular profile that people order. So this, you can do some crazy stuff with it. Tie it in a knot. Okay, now imagine, think about where this comes in handy. Let's say like a backlit mirror of some sort, or trying to backlight any type of architectural detail. With chip on board, you could get that dotless diffusion, but you had to go up, make a connection, right? A jumper, over, jumper, down, jumper, over. Or you had to home run to each one. Home run, run the tape light. Boom, run the wire, boom, run the next tape light. Now you can just go boom, and make your 90-degree angles, right? And actually border any type of architectural detail that you want. So really cool. What I do love about this profile as well is it looks awesome in the channel. So it has a nice little straight aluminum channel here. You can see it very, very low profile. Okay, this is fantastic for millwork. So you can have this channel sent out to the millwork guy and who can then get the correct dado blade needed. They can then dado out, and now you're not dealing with flanges. You're dealing with just a nice little bead of light. Really, really cool option there. And then I want to show you the last couple things here is showcase the RGBW option. So this is... turn this on here. Sorry, bear with me. Oh, sorry, this is the new tunable white option, actually. So this is our new tunable white option here. So let me change, sorry, this is our RGBW. I thought we had the other one here. So this is just gonna showcase a few different color options here. So as you can see, it's a little bit washed out on camera, but let me tell you, this is one of the most saturated RGBW flexible silicone-based products I've ever seen. It really is just a deep saturation of color. Looks absolutely gorgeous in person here. So try to get a sample of one of these. Again, you will be dealing with cut points since it is RGBW, okay? And then last couple things here is I want to showcase the wire entries. Sorry, the field wire entry options. So let me turn this on. So if you need to, in the field, with the top, side bend, and 3D, you can do actual field wire entry and termination end cap. If you are wanting to do cut the 3D mini as well as the micro side bend, okay? Micro side bend, you have to do a trim and an end cap. Same with the mini 3D, where you can trim it down and then pop an end cap on it, but you cannot actually do a wire entry. And now why that matters is, let's say you're getting a spool of the mini 3D bend and the max run is 32 feet. If you get that spool, okay, you can cut that spool into 2 different lengths within that 32 feet, but only those 2 different lengths. Versus, let's say it's the top end right here, you get a spool of this at 32 feet, right? You can now cut that into 3, 4, 5 different sections if you want, remembering that two of them will have that silicone injection wire entry, because that's what comes with the spool, so 3 feet of lead wire on each side. And then the third one, fourth one, fifth one will now have the option to do wire entry. So they're a little bit bulkier, but actually pretty good looking compared to most out there. And this is our straight wire entry, but you can do a side wire on both ends and as well as a bottom wire. And then this is the end cap where you can trim it back. It's clear though, so allowing that light to still shine through on the ends. So really cool. Again, giving you that flexibility for installation in the field. And then to end it off, I wanted to showcase the free cut. So of the 5 profiles we have talked about today, the CURVA top bend, side bend, 3D, and mini 3D all have the capability of free cut. The micro side bend does not. The micro side bend is 1-inch cut points. It does not have the capability of doing free cut. Free cut meaning that there are no cut points whatsoever. This is achieved not through the tape light. This is achieved through the actual silicone. So if you look at this closely, the printed circuit board is a tight pitch circuit board. Okay, so now when you go and you cut through, let's say you cut through that silicone and there is 2 LEDs at the end and you break one of them. Now this LED right here, because of a dual circuit board, will still have amperage pushed to it and it will light up. Now yes, there might be some silicone over here that has no light. What is the magic behind CURVA is that they will take this, we have this kind of almost ribbed edged silicone inside here, and it works almost like a heat sinker, but for light. Heat sinkers have kind of edges, right, and different kind of grooves so that it bounces the heat around and then dissipates that heat. Same thing with this, but for light. It now allows you that LED right here shoots up, bounces on that silicone, and then shoots to the very end. So I'm going to showcase it here. This is also going to give you a sneak peek of one of the tools that are coming here in the future. Okay, so this is a PVC cutter. We suggest usually in the field to use some type of PVC cutter that's about 3/4, 1 3/4 inch PVC cutter. What this does though is allows you, and we've had so many people that want to do this, where they want to go up the wall with CURVA and then connect into another CURVA where they're almost like mitered corners. Okay, now you can do this with this tool. This tool allows you to change the degree to a 45-degree cut. So you could do one cut on this side, boom, cut it through. Okay, and then on the other end, you could do the other one like this, boom, cut it through, and now this would allow you to have that kind of mitered corner. All right, so I'm going to showcase here though the free cut on this. And we'll do it at the mitered corner here to showcase that as well. So let's go here, right? And then I'm going to show it on camera here, boom. And then now you'll just have to bring power back into it, boom. And then now you have light to the very end, okay? So I'll do another one here. Let's just do a straight cut on this one. Okay, so now boom, light to the very end. You're actually supposed to really cut it on the side with these. So boom, cut it like that, right? Bring power back into it. Boom, light to the very end. We'll do it one more time here just so you know there's no cut points. You can see that that's just showing polarity. Okay, so boom, we'll come here. We'll cut it to another random size here. Boom, cutting it. Let's bring power back into it. And then boom, light to the very end. What's up? Never cut it while it's on, Ted's showing. This is just for me to have fun on camera. So keep that in mind. Never cut it while it's on. But what this does now is give you flexibility in 2 ways. Insulation flexibility. So now when you're bordering that outdoor fireplace and you get to the very end and you go, crap. If I cut it on this cut point, I'm gonna have a dead spot. It's not gonna reach all the way around. If I cut it on the other cut point, I'm gonna have to loop this around, and now I'm gonna have two areas where it's gonna be double light and have a hot spot. Most people go, who cares about that little 1-inch dead spot? But the way our eyes see variation much quicker than we see similarity, right? So the first thing your homeowner is going to see is not the 99% of beautiful light going around. They're going to see the 1-inch dead spot. So this allows you as an installer to make sure that you cut it to the exact size you need. Or if you don't want to be dealing with those wire entry end caps, or those, field termination end caps that are a little bit bulkier, what we can do at Lucetta CI is take your exact architectural detail. So let's say it's a retaining wall, a curved retaining wall. You don't have to worry about now working with us to try to fit that fixture in and then now change the retaining wall dimensions because it doesn't work within the cut points. Nope, now we can take the exact dimensions you have and then design and build out this flexible profile to those exact dimensions. So really a game-changing product in this industry, it really is. So, all right, moving on, a few last ones that we gotta talk about here is the True Focus fixtures. So we have the True Focus, which is going to be our rigid optical illuminator, our grazer, and then we'll talk about our True Focus Flex, which is our exterior flexible grazer as well. So I am a huge fan of the True Focus. This is a unique grazer that is utilizing tape light as the light engine. Now, for so long, when grazing first became a thing, the root word for graze in the Greek language is to scrape. So you are literally taking light and scraping an architectural detail. It is the opposite of wall washing. So Ted, if you can just switch to this camera really quick. So if you can see here, right, let's say if there was artwork on this wall, okay, the idea of wall washing is you're taking a fixture that you're mounting a little bit away from the wall. You have a wider beam spread that then is washing the wall so that your eyes of the viewer focus on the architectural details, which are the artwork, and then it washes away all of these little imperfections of the wall. Now, the opposite is grazing. Grazing is taking a fixture, mounting it much closer to the wall, narrowing that beam spread so that it scrapes that architectural detail. The idea is now the actual wall is the feature point. Okay, whether it's a stone texture wall, a geometric wall, some type of wall that has texture so that that light, when it scrapes, you're getting the view of contrast, right? The contrast between the shadow and the actual light, which then makes that feature point, that wall, dramatic in nature. Okay, grazing really became something extremely popular about 8 to 10 years ago, and we'll switch back over here in just a second. It really became popular about 8 to 10 years ago, and what happened though was at first you had grazers that had certain types of LED modules in it, and you had no flexibility in nature. You had no flexibility in installation as well as the design. You were stuck with the dimensions you get. 18 inches, 24 inches, 36, 48. Well, what happens when you need a 44-inch grazer? Because if you get a 48-incher, it won't fit. But if you do a 36-incher, now you're going to have massive dead spots on the side. With our our True Focus, what this allows you to do is utilizing a light engine at the base of it that has 1-inch cut points. So now you can customize the True Focus to any dimension you want within the inch, but also it gives you all of the flexibility of the lighting solutions that come with this light engine. So all of the lumen outputs, the different CCTs, tunable white, RGBW, RGBTW, warm dim, all of these different options within one single small discrete grazer. That is what you're getting out of the True Focus. So you can see here, right, we have it in static white options, okay, at different lumen levels, warm dim, 2 different tunable white options. So one, our 3-channel, which is a very, very high-end light quality tunable white, our RGBW, as well as our RGBTW. And then in all of those different options, you have 3 different beam spreads. So 10 degrees for those really dramatic, harsh types of grazes needed. 30 degrees, which is a little bit more forgiving, I would say. This is ensuring that you're going to get a proper graze without having to mount it kind of perfectly. And then the 60 degrees, which is really a hybrid between wall washing and grazing. So let's switch over here and showcase a few of these examples. And then Ted, I'll probably switch over in a second to the other view so we can show them the magic trick here. So let's go here first. Let me grab, see what one this one is. Okay, boom. All right, let's grab a few of these here. So first I want to start out with showcasing the actual grazer itself here. So you can see very, very small in nature, okay? Very, very small. Has a raceway underneath it so that you can have different mounting adjustability. Okay, you can do it in a straight wire entry, side wire entries, or bottom wire entry. You can get this in aluminum, white, or black. Okay, with 3 different beam spreads, like I said, 10, 30, and 60 degrees. And where the magic is our patented dual optic. Okay, so this is what it looks like here. Okay, and what's unique about this is that you have the tape light, okay, which is usually 120 degrees. It's a ball of chaos of light. And then this first optic that sits over it brings that 120 degrees to a 30 degrees. Then the second optic, which is either a 10 degree, 30, or 60, will take that 30 degrees and then we'll shift it into whatever degrees it is. So let's say it's the 10 degree, boom, it shifts it into that 10 degree. So what it's allowing you to do is take every single LED on that tape light and shoot it as far left and right as possible. So this then gives you that really unique optical control where you can graze and wash through different architectural constraints. So like beams and different types of sprinklers or cameras on the wall, you can graze straight through it without having any obstruction of the graze. And so let's see if we can capture this. Let's go here. So, all right, I can have that grazer here, right? That's that 10 degrees. Okay, you can kind of see it. Let me go scoot back a little bit here. And I can put my hand in front of it, and it does not block the graze. Let's see if I can do it that way. It might be better. I can go like this and put my hand in front of it. I can grab it like this, and it does not block that graze. Okay, so it's really cool. I can even do most of my hand in front of it like this, and it's still not blocking that graze. So really unique optical control that allows you to graze through those different obstructions that you usually wouldn't be able to graze through, and you would have to start a grazer here, then work around that beam, start another grazer, having to pull power to each one. Now you can have one single grazer with one power in one area and then just graze straight through all of those architectural details. So there's also, okay, so this is actually our tunable white here that we're showcasing. Okay, and then I'll show you here one other one. I want to show also, and I apologize, we can't really show the grazing too easily on camera, but this is also another kind of cool option that you can go with, is that all jet black with the jet black aiming brackets, and then our louver. Okay, and our louver comes in 2 different options, a straight louver, okay, straight louver, as well as an angled cutoff louver. Okay, these come in 12-inch sections that then can be built together, and then we can cut them as well. And if you look at these closely, the outside, right here, this outside area is exactly twice the size of the inside louvers. So that this way, when you butt them up together, it's a continuous perfect louver over the actual optic. So very, very cool. Really excited about where this is, where we're taking this. There's more to come though, of course, in Lucetta CI fashion. And then let's end it here with the True Focus Flex with our optical luminaires. Okay, this is our outdoor exterior IP65 grazer with 2 different beam spreads. So you have a 20 degree as well as an asymmetric degree beam spread, okay? Asymmetric is fantastic for when you want all of that light to be pushed to the wall without having light kind of protrude out into the eyes and have a glare. So really kind of unique low profile flexible grazer only on the top bend. Okay, so keep that in mind, only IP65. And then we have 2 different lumen options, 500 and 700, with the max runs being 14 feet and 7.5 feet. So here are some of the amazing different applications that we've seen throughout the years with you integrators. Everything from different building facades and building eaves to really dramatic geometric walls. We're seeing this more and more, by the way, the one in the middle top. We are seeing people actually build out these beautiful geometric feature walls. That used to not be the case 10 years ago. 10 years ago was where could we find in the architecture to graze? What could we find to graze? Now grazing has become so popular that we're building out full feature walls with geometric patterns to showcase and be a feature wall. Okay, really cool. Outdoor stone, different types of materials. As long as it has texture, we can graze it. And then to end it off here is our backlighting solutions. Okay, so we have two backlighting solutions. They're really kind of the opposite of each other. So you have light guide panels, which is the most flexible when it comes to design. Okay, so we can design these in unique different shapes, everything from triangles, squares, rectangles, circles, to even curvature. So as long as we have the CAD drawings, we can design these and laser cut them around any type of curvature needed, whether that is a sink, okay, to a curved type of countertop, to even being able to do the actual waterfall effects of the stone hanging off the side of the countertop. We can drill holes through these so that this way you can drill it up onto the wall, mount it on the wall, and do it for backsplash. Okay, we can laser etch logos into these. We can do it in static white, tunable white, RGB and RGBW, as well as warm dim. So really, really cool product. But keep in mind, these are all specified up front. We have to have the dimensions exact. We have to have sign off. We need to be sure that these are correct and accurate before we ship them, because they are set in stone. There is no being able to change them in the field. As of today, we can do up to about 96 by 54 inches, whether that's a broad or domestic, depending on the sizing capabilities. These are edgelit. That's how we can actually laser etch into them or drill holes into them, because the actual tape light is on the edge shooting through the actual acrylic panel that is etched in nature, so it scatters and fractals that light. Okay, and then I'll show you on the top down here in a second, but we also have the array. Array is the opposite. Array we can't do as large of sizes. You have to build them out to make larger sizes. Each single one has to be powered. These pull a lot of wattage. Just keep that in mind. But we can do RGBW and RGBTW with them. But again, if you're doing a large scale type of backlighting project and you want to do RGBW, really the best system design is at every single one of these sheets has to have a driver and a DMX decoder each. So this can be a lot of power, a lot of planning and having strategy on how you're going to house all the drivers and decoders. But what the difference is you can trim these in the field. So you can trim these on the horizontal and vertical cut points for both the RGBW and RGBTW. And then even on the static white options, we have 120 degrees and 160 degree beam spreads. And you can even do those in diagonal cuts as well. So I'm going to showcase the light guide panel here. So light guide panel I'm going to showcase is our little tiny one that I like to use as a sample. I strongly suggest that every single one of you integrators that is trying to get into backlighting really suggest getting a sample of a tunable white light guide panel. The reason why is that even if you're not going to sell the tunable white because of cost reasons, now what I can do is I can take and power this up, and in whatever stone that they want, whatever stone sample, right, I can pop it on here, okay, and then I can actually tune the different light quality, different CCTs, and then I can change that different CCT to a more white 6,000, 6,300 down to a warmer 2,700 Kelvin. Why I love this is that most people don't understand that each stone is different in its color, its translucency, but also that most of the time stones look best when you're more at around a 4,000, 5,000 CCT. So what you can do with a tunable white sample like this is then take any project, any stone, pop it on top, find the best CCT that it looks good with, and then order the static white version of that that's closest to that CCT. This is best practice on if you're trying to get into backlighting solutions. So you can see here again, right, this is 4 edges lit. Okay, it's in the actual border here. You can drill through them. You can customize these. This is an amazing backlighting solution. So for the sake of time, we're going to move on here and get to questions. I wanted to showcase a few backlighting solution applications. And then complete fixtures. Let me just demo this really quickly to end it off, and then we'll get the questions. So on complete fixtures, I'm going to switch over here to my screen here, and I just wanted to show you what we mean by complete fixtures, all right? So complete fixtures is the idea that if you want to be able to specify and order any of our channel profiles and light engines as a fully built, customized fixture, okay, you can do that now without having to reference a channel profile spec sheet, then the tape light spec sheet, trying to figure out how that all works together, right? Different part numbers. Now you can go to products, okay, and then you can go to complete fixtures, and then you can do either rigid or flexible, okay? We're gonna go to rigid. Okay, we're going to look at rigid here, and let's go to a one of our more channel profile options. So the AR3, for example, is a really popular surface-mounted channel profile. So we'll click there. Then it's going to take us to the product web page, okay, and it will have some higher level types of specs on it. Okay, so you can see here the CRIs, right, depending on what light engine you use. Okay, and then you can go, okay, what performance tier do I want to go with? All right, I want to push you always to Oro. Oro is the best types of light engines in the industry. So now you have the Oro Static White, Oro Cob, Oro Warm Dim, or Oro Tunable White. Okay, so let's do something fun. Let's go to the Oro Cob. This is a unique tape light we talked about yesterday. So now up here, right, you'll have kind of a quick dimensions and rendering of it. Here are the general specifications, okay? And then obviously you can go here to actually look at the individual specs for either the Oro Cob or the AR3. So that's really cool, these little hyperlinks, okay? And then now here's the SKU builder. And what's different about this is that for the first time ever, the actual part numbers, the numbers that you use throughout this ordering guide is going to be the actual part number that is quoted that you can use on your larger quotes when you go to consult. So this way now you are not going to get shopped out. These are going to be completely custom SKUs to the CI channel. So you can start here, right? The brand, LCI, the voltage, most of the time this is going to be the exact same because it's always LCI and it's always going to be 24 volt. Then you have the channel, okay, then the finish, it's giving you the options between aluminum, white, or black. If it's aluminum, you just leave blank, okay. Then you have the environment, okay, this is going to be dry, damp, IP20. Then the light engine, Oro Cob. Then the output options, so up to 600 lumens a foot. Okay, you can work through this and be writing this down in here. You can, if you have a PDF editor, you can then just pop these in and type these in, the different CCT options. Then you have the lens options. Okay, so the architectural frosted, clear, or frosted satin lens. What's coming soon will be our roll-on lens as well as our black lens. Then you have the fixture length. Okay, so you can either order it in inches or in feet. Then you can do exact or optimal. Okay, exact will be where we will, let's say you have it very specific dimensions. And so I'll give you a good example of this. Will be under cabinet. I would rather have the channel profile the exact length of each of the cabinets that go edge to edge to the divider. That this way, when you do look under there for some reason, you now, when turned off, that fixture, that channel profile is edge to edge and it looks like it's integrated into the cabinet. And now, if you go exact there, though, sometimes that means the tape light, depending on the cut points, will be a little bit inset, and so there might be some dead spots. That is okay for indirect view, because you're not going to notice it by the time the light hits the surface area. But let's say it is a floating shelf, and it has no lip on there, and you're going to see it in direct view. That's where I would go optimal. Optimal is going to allow us then to go, okay, are we going to optimize it longer or shorter? And if, let's say, we go shorter, it might decrease that fixture length by a half an inch, but now the tape light will be edge to edge of that lens evenly illuminated through. Okay, so that's kind of the differences there. Eventually, we're going to be adding an inset option. An inset meaning that you can have the an option to inset that tape light on each side or even just one of the sides by an inch, a half inch, 2 inches, whatever you want, so that let's say you're doing in-cabinet lighting with a glass door so you can see into the cabinet and there's adjacent cabinet walls, you want to inset that tape light on each side about 2 inches so you're not getting hot spots on the sides of the cabinet walls. Then the side wire or side A wire length, okay, that's the first side thing. So now you can do the length of it, then the color of that wire, then what entry that you want. On the AR3, we can only do end and bottom. Some of these will have a side entry, and it will have 2 different options for that, depending on what side you want to do. Side A wire connection, whether that's bare wire, barrel, interconnect. Okay, then side B, either you can do nothing if you want, or you can actually specify that you do want a side B wire, and then the color type, the entry, okay, and then the connection, and then the mounting as well. Okay, and then down here, okay, is going to show you an example of this, right? So you can see how we're working through it, showing the different examples, and then now showing kind of some of the higher level specs, or sorry, more technical specs on these lumen outputs, right? What the wattage is per foot, okay, the max continuous runs, okay, the CCTs and what those lumen outputs look like at each lumen level, the lenses, what light loss you get, okay, how that will look, whether it's dotless, semi-diffused, okay, and then the fixture lengths, what we mean by optimal versus exact. Okay, and then different things like this, like the looks of the wire connections, even this right here, showcasing what end entry is versus bottom entry. Same thing with side B. Then giving you some mounting options, as well as that flat louver that does come with the AR3. Then the recommended power supplies. Okay, and then just some of the very end stuff like warranty and safety and stuff. So awesome. I just wanted to make sure I got to that and let you guys kind of showcase the what we mean by a complete fixture, and how you have so much more specification power and flexibility now when you utilize that complete fixture, those complete fixture spec sheets. So, Olivia, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, I thought that was great, Cam. We have a lot of exciting product, obviously. This is our support team. So if you don't already know who to reach out to for what, we make it really, really easy. So obviously, Rob, Keith, and I are help you with anything you need. I think what would be great is new samples. So if you're a rep on this call, stay tuned, because we have our Lucetta CI soft case launching soon, in the next like week and a half. And if you're a dealer on the call, then we can also get you one of those as well. So samples are going to be important. Please try to join the webinar tomorrow. We're going to be diving into some more stuff. And again, if you need any specific help on portal related stuff, because we have a new portal that just launched, the website that we launched, if you want someone to walk you through it, just reach out to us, and we're very happy to help with all of that.
And Olivia, on that note too, the training team is working on some recorded, like really good, clean, shorter, concise training videos on the portal as well that are coming soon in the next like week or so. So
Perfect. It looks like we might have a few questions in the chat.
awesome.
We do.
So let's see. Toby, if you could reach out to our info@lucettaci.com email, that team will be able to help you, okay? So reach out to them and we can set up a call, and get you started on that. Ted answered Brent's question. What's the name SKU on this cut stuff again? So David, that is the CURVA line. So if you go onto the lucettaci.com, you'll be able to see the whole CURVA line, as well as all of the spec sheets, all of the SKU information on that product. So you see it's right there. You have all your CURVA that's available under flexible
You can go
product.
that way too, or you can even find it through, if you want to just, like if you were looking for a flexible dynamic option, we'll have it in areas like this, right? Or you can even just go to specialty lighting. Oh, sorry, no, not special lighting. It would be, so either complete fixtures, flexible, or going through a dynamic lighting option as well. So.
Perfect. Thanks,
Any other
guys.
questions?
Happy almost Friday.
Awesome. Thank you, Olivia. Rob, if you're still on the call, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, I think we're all set. Thanks.
Great.
Appreciate that.
Awesome. Awesome, guys. Thank you. So just to end it off here, just always want to make sure people are aware of the different training opportunities we have. So we'll switch it over here quick, Ted, and then just showcase the different factory training options that are coming April 22nd through the 23rd, July, and October. Very excited about these. Reach out to your rep if you're a dealer on how you can get signed up. You can also register on the website. We pay for all landed expenses, so you just have to get yourself there. Everything else, meals, transportation, hotel accommodations, all of that is paid for. So keep that in mind. Love to see you up here. Field trainings, keep that in mind as well. We can come to your territory and host some larger field trainings or some more one-on-one dedicated trainings with maybe your techs and talk about installation tips and tricks. Okay, and then virtual and media, okay, more and more stuff is coming very soon, from monthly webinars to dedicated videos. Again, utilize your resources, website, catalog, reach out to your sales team. Okay, so I'll leave it on this as we close. So I really appreciate you guys for coming. Thank you. I know I went a little bit over time, but obviously there's a lot of details to get done. So thank you again for sticking with me, for being a partner for us. We are excited for what's to come. This is just the beginning. So with that, I'm Cam, Senior National Training Manager at Lucetta CI, and I'll see you on the next one.